And we are live in the Facebook group. Good morning, Real Closers. Good morning. We are live again, back every Wednesday, Coffee for Closers. And today we actually have a special guest, and we're going to continue to do this to continue to provide value to you. So today we have Jeff Mass, and we're going to talk about how do we leverage systems for success. Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself to the group, or Marcus, tell us a little bit about you, how you guys,
well, Jeff and I go way back, probably at least a few years now, right, Jeff?
And yeah,
Jeff,
at least a couple of years.
Jeff is from Compass in Orange County, California, not too far from where I am, and we're trying to do an actual meetup. I'm in Oceanside, California right now.
Nice. We're not too far, Jeff. I'm in the about 20 miles north of downtown LA, San Fernando Valley.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my son lives in Silver Lake, so he's real close to you.
Nice. So maybe we'll get to meet each other in person anytime.
Yeah, my wife took the kids to the Grove yesterday and had a little LA adventure.
Nice.
It's always an adventure in LA.
It really is. It's like as soon as you get there, you realize why you don't want to live there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Jeff started with Street Text, and I think it was great because he had a little experience on that top of funnel game. And then he quickly adapted, and he started realizing that systems were going to be a big part of his success. So yeah, Jeff, why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of take everybody back, because maybe some people here at Real Closers, I know Roberto, you guys do Facebook lead generation kind of courses where you teach people how to do it themselves, and then we have highlighted a couple times Street Text and why having that type of solution there for you makes things a lot easier. But yeah, Jeff, kind of take them back to your own experience in the online lead gen game.
Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't say I quickly adapted. It took a while. The learning curve was pretty extreme, and I think what accelerated the process, at least for me with Street Text, was Street Text has a Zoom mastermind meeting weekly on Wednesday mornings, and it's a great opportunity because you get a lot of agents with past experience with Street Text that are sharing their experiences, what's working for them, what's not working for them. So you can kind of take a shortcut from ground zero to blasting off just by taking in a lot of the feedback and information that, at least in my case, that I received from them. I mean, quite honestly, I haven't had an original thought in my mind for 20 years. So being able to utilize what these guys had to share was absolutely crucial in my Street Text experience. And just kind of segueing into what that experience was, as Marcus said, I've been with Street Text for a couple of years now. My first year did a little over $100,000 in gross commission as a direct result of Street Text leads. But it was a process, and I've learned as I go through the process, and even 2 years into it, I'm still tweaking a lot of what I'm doing. So that's pretty much my background with Street Text. As far as systems, and I'm not sure who your audience is, Roberto, but I'll take it down to basics. Obviously, the most critical component of what I do, and I've got about 3,800 leads in my database, of which about 25% of those are Street Text leads. Critically, you find a CRM that A, you're comfortable with, and B, you're going to use. There's no way that I could service my clients the way that I do and stay in contact with them without the function of a good CRM. I use Follow Up Boss. Everybody has their own favorites. I'm not suggesting anybody should use Follow Up Boss. It works for me. So I use Follow Up Boss in conjunction with a couple of other platforms. BombBomb I use for my video, and BombBomb has been critical. All of my touches, all of my action plans include any number of touches to not only my Street Text clients, but my sphere of influence and everybody else in my database. In probably 90% of my touches that go out through emails to those clients, there's video that's embedded in it through BombBomb. And not only is video a great way to be able to connect with clients, allow them to see you and hear you, but it also allows me to see who's actually opening up those videos, who's watching them more than once, and that triggers another action if they're opening and looking at it more than once. So BombBomb's been, I never would have even thought to use video to the extent that I do had it not been for street text. So BombBomb's been crucial, if not for the only reason that I embed more videos in my touches than I ever did before. And going into next year, the goal is to have 100% of my touches incorporate video. The videos are typically never more than 20 to 30 seconds. There's text that goes along with them in the touch, but again, it's brief, it's concise, it's a value proposition in every case. I'm not asking for anything. I'm trying to give, I'm trying to serve, in the hopes that at some point, most of these people realize that I'm there as a resource. And that's my goal, is to create the premise that if they need a real estate resource for whatever reason, not necessarily just buying or selling, I'm there for them. Second platform that I really lean heavily into is HomeBot. And HomeBot is pretty much just a set it and forget it. With Street Text, they've made it a whole lot easier because they've integrated HomeBot with the Street Text platform. So all of my HomeBot leads are directly integrated into Street Text. So a lead coming in through Street Text, through Follow Up Boss, is automatically going into HomeBot. The caveat I would tell you with HomeBot is, especially here in Orange County, and it's probably true all over, is with the market the way it is now and values changing as drastically as they are in the last 6 months, using artificial intelligence for values isn't always spot on. And there's a guy in the Street Text mastermind that swears it's a great idea to be sending out false values because it initiates a conversation. Shout out Leon Harper. And I guess that's one way to look at it is, he gets more calls with people that are complaining about their value, but he's right. It starts a conversation, which may never have occurred if they just looked at their value and it was within reason of what they thought it would be. So HomeBot's great. Again, set it and forget it. There's a home value that goes out to them on a monthly basis. There's a number of buttons that they can access additional information. Again, I integrate video with my HomeBot as well. Video is becoming, as of 2 years ago, video wasn't even a piece of my marketing. Now it's probably responsible for 85 or 90% of the pieces that go out. And then lastly, I use a company called Thanks.io for doing my correspondence, if you will. Thank you cards, postcards, everything that's mail related. And those, again, are tagged in Follow Up Boss and shot out through action plans, depending on what point in the action plan that lead is. But again, the idea of what the client perceives to be a handwritten note card has been huge. And I can't even tell you how many comments I've gotten back from clients thanking me for what they thought was a handwritten note. It's just a great touch that people appreciate. But in addition to that, I do actually do some handwritten notes. My goal is, with my whole client base, to send them at least 4 handwritten notes a year. And that's just a process of going through the database, starting with A and working through 5 every day until I get to the bottom, and then starting all over again. And that's usually where it ends up, is about 4 a year. So that's one piece of the puzzle. But that's the crux of it.
Yeah, and Jeff, you do also have a somewhat of an omnipresence going too. I see your reels on Facebook, right? You've got YouTube. So I mean, he's video marketing is a big thing that he's invested inside of as well. So they get to know them. They get to know Jeff. They tend to like him, trust him along the way as all this value is coming towards them.
Yeah, and quite honestly, the video was probably the hardest obstacle for me to overcome, because like everybody else, I don't like the way I look on video. I don't like the way I sound on video. But a good mentor of mine told me a while ago is, hey, here's the bottom line. That's how you look and that's how you sound. So deal with it.
Yeah.
That is the challenge that I've heard, a lot of people. And the thing is, once you do it, I guess, a few times, you kind of get used to it that, hey, that is how I look and that is how I sound. I mean, when I meet someone, that's what they're gonna see anyways, right? So do you do a lot of live video or pre-recorded video?
No, I do it all pre-recorded. I use a teleprompter function because I'm just terrible at winging stuff. So, and again, a lot of my stuff is what we call R&D in street text, ripped off and duplicated.
That's right.
So I watch a lot of videos and reels of real estate professionals that I respect, take pieces of what they are using and saying and doing and integrate those into mine. But no, I would say that 95% of it is pre-recorded. I'll sit down, I'll be in the office. We have a suite that's set aside specifically for video recording. I'll go in one day a week and knock off 4 or 5 videos that I can send out during different times of the week.
So true. And there's so many great scripts along, and especially in our insider group community, because Krista Maestro graduates all over the place. Agent Launch, Eric Preston graduates all over the place. And their YouTube channels are all public, right? And so they're sharing video all the time. So yes, if you really want to go that route, you can, because there's some great teachers out there if you really want to invest. And I do think everybody should look into programs like that if they want to up their video marketing game. But if you don't have the resources to do so, like we talk about every single day, this is why we have a mastermind to rip off and duplicate and share and collaborate and give until you can get to that place. Even then, when you end up getting to that place, you just start sharing even more of it. And by teaching, you're actually learning more and absorbing more. So it's this beautiful cycle.
Exactly. And Jeff, I mean, you know, everything that you've talked about today, the systems that you kind of took us through, is everything that we talked about, you know, every week after week. We talk about leveraging systems, right? And you're doing just that, and you are getting the results, and you're not stuck at doing just one thing and hoping that one thing works, right? You're basically created an entire funnel where you drive all your leads, top of funnel leads, down your video, down your messages, down your automation. And that is, you know, what is giving you the results, right? Putting in the time, right? And I bet it wasn't like overnight success, right? And you probably didn't implement all these systems within the first 30 days of starting Facebook advertising, right? It probably took you a bit.
No, I mean, I implemented them right off the bat, Roberto, and they were absolutely worthless for about the first quarter, until I realized I was gonna have to get in, tweak them, personalize them, really start from scratch with them. So, you know, that's the advice that I give to people just starting out is know that you're gonna have to utilize those tools and start utilizing them as soon as possible. But these tools aren't set and walk away from. You have to continually tweak them. You have to continually improve them. You have to continually upgrade every aspect of them. I mean, I'm going through my street text automations, my action plans, all my videos I'm redoing so they come out for the first of the year. Why? Because I go back and look at some of these that I did 6 months, a year ago, and conditions have changed. So the message isn't the same now that it was when I recorded these things 6 months and a year ago. So, you know, sending out a video now as part of an action plan that says, hey, the market's great, houses are selling in 24 hours with 40 offers, you know, now's the time. I'm going to lose all credibility that I've worked really hard to establish by doing that. So, you know, it's critical you go back and review exactly what you're doing, probably on a quarterly basis, but especially now that we've seen such a drastic market change in the last year, nothing that you were putting out there last year holds true for right now.
Yeah, and a perfect time to be doing it, like during the holidays, you know, like I love people that tune in Thanksgiving. You can get the festive spirit or Christmas near the Christmas tree. So as your automations go out in the season, it feels relevant to the times we're in right now. So they don't think it's some canned message. And that's the key. If you can do stuff like that, people really identify to that.
One of the things that I remember from an agent using BombBomb, and she used it a lot, is that she would record videos and time her videos with the season, right? With not just but with, like, if it was raining, for example, right? She would record a couple of videos then. If it was sunny or in the morning, she would record a couple of videos there. And then when she would send them out, she would make him feel as if it was happening right there and then, and it's just the same video that she was sending out, and people were like, oh, I'm just getting out of my car, let me give you a quick message, I just wanted to talk to you, little things like that. It made it even more like connecting with the leads, and with the people that she was sending these videos to, and it was giving her more results at connecting better with people, right? And I think it's about being able to adapt to today's tech, right? I mean, we talked about BombBomb, and there's probably a couple more out there that kind of do the same thing, but in terms of usability, kind of something that you can integrate easily, and then most importantly, change it up, right? Change it up to what you're doing so that it's more personal. Because I know there's a lot of systems out there, canned text messages, emails. And I mean, ideally, you kind of go in and tweak it and do it your own so that you can get those results for yourself, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the key to this whole, look, we're in a service-oriented business, and it's not going to work if your potential clients can't relate to you. So, it's a hackneyed phrase, but they have to know you, like you, and trust you. And since you're not going to get face-to-face with the majority of these top of funnel leads right off the bat, it's important that you establish some sort of comfort level with them. And the next best thing is doing that through video and humanizing the process, so that they see that you're a real person, that you have feelings, that you have emotions, that you can be funny, that you can be stupid, that you can be an idiot. Whatever you are, they will relate to that. And if they don't, they're not your tribe, they're not your client. So that's real simple.
Exactly. I like that. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to please everybody, right? You only care about the ones you can please, because those are going to turn into your clients anyways. And absolutely, in this type of industry, we don't want to work with everybody at the same time, right? I mean, we want to work with people that can work and relate to us.
100%. And this is something that we're so passionate about for people to understand and get, that we want the entire industry to know. We are throwing a free event December 8th, and we'll continue to talk about it just a little bit as it gets closer. Jeff is going to be one of the speakers, and he's going to be talking just about what we're talking about, systems that leverage his success. So, but I want to also share, there's going to be, I know Tristan's going to come along and talk about the state of the market, a pre-recorded video. We've got Linnea Carver, which I'm going to have on this show maybe next week, Roberto, and she'll talk about omnipresence, how to be everywhere. Eric Preston, if you're familiar with Agent Launch, he's going to be talking about how to build a successful YouTube channel in 2023. We've got Krista Mayshore, which we've talked about, and anybody who wants to get into digital marketing should consume some of her material. It doesn't mean you have to go down that route, but she's a guru coming from the Russell Brunson background. She really understands the power of getting in front of someone's social and reaching them and branding even before you generate leads. It's pretty impressive what she's accomplished. We've got Gabrielle O'Gleen talking about the lion mentality. I'm excited for that one because I think you need to have a lion mentality in this industry. Lars Hedenberg, if you're familiar with it, the 5 must-do to crush the shift in 2023. Dan Stewart, if you know Dan Stewart from Happy Grasshopper, he's going to be talking about from broken to breakthrough, how to lead your community through challenging times. Something as community leaders ourselves, Roberto, it's pretty powerful that we can get in and hop onto. Hassan Riggs, if you're familiar with Smart Alto, 5 ways to leverage data to keep clients engaged throughout the entire home selling journey. Jennifer Salter, when the market shifts, it's back to the basics. There's Jeff talking about leveraging systems for success. Josh Shanley, definitely a guy you guys want to look into. He's got an email strategy that can 3x your lead conversion, and it's really powerful. A lot of people are indeed that, right, Jeff, in one of the masterminds. And you've R&D'd a bunch of Josh's stuff, so that's always cool. Wendy Ghost from Vegas, 10 proven ways to keep in touch with your past clients and get more referrals. Miriam is going to talk about from zero to hero, her proven follow-up strategy to convert Facebook leads. Leon Harper, leveraging database marketing to find your niche. And then Steve is going to kind of wrap it all up, the founder of Street Text, and talk about how the future is remarketing automation, and that can make you the agent of choice. So you can imagine a full day event, free ticket for everybody. and just a way of collaborating and bringing everybody in the industry together and really getting motivated. I find this is the time where a lot of people let loose in holidays and let's have some fun, and you should, but also a perfect time to invest into perfecting your systems and getting ready for the new year, which is going to be boom, right like that. Like right around the corner is the spring market. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a lot of value, man.
And let me just throw, unlike Marcus, I don't get paid for pimping this thing on December 8th, but it's, I mean, the speakers that he's got lined up are just phenomenal. And I think the biggest thing is for any agent, these guys are all successful. I mean, they're not just successful, they're really successful. And everybody has used a different path to get to where they are. And that's the beauty of it is an agent jumping in and watching this thing is going to find one or two individual agents that they identify with, and they identify with the way they do things. Now, I mean, when I started out in this business, you know, the big thing was let's go out and door knock. That's how we're going to generate business. Absolutely was not for me. I just felt it was an invasion of a person's private space, and I couldn't do it. So, you know, there's things that you'll identify with right off the bat, and there's things that you'll just say, absolutely not. It just doesn't fit with who I am. And that's the beauty of having a lineup with the 8 or 10 individuals that Marcus has lined up is everybody's doing it a different way. Everybody has a different personality, but ultimately it works for them. So, I mean, if you can latch on to one or two and understand what they're doing and how they're doing, I can't imagine it wouldn't increase your business in some sense.
Yeah, we actually talked about this last week, you know, when Marcus announced we announced it a couple weeks ago, right? That if you could just, like you said, Jeff, if you're not doing everything, right, you probably don't want to do everything, like you said, because it took you a bit to do everything right. If you can latch on to one thing and give it your all for a good 90, 180 days, make sure that it's working, and then again, you know, continue leverage, because you're going to get more and more and more, and start adding to your system like a little puzzle.
Yeah,
right?
you leverage and you collaborate, because part of the leveraging is you do want to take that one thing and do it 90 days, 180 days, but you constantly want to get feedback as you're leveraging it. This is why the importance of masterminds and events like this, because what you do is you come in and say, hey, this is what's working for me, but this is not working for me. What would you guys as a community suggest based on your own experience I do differently to make this work? And so what you do is you just continue sharpening the edge, just that iron sharpens iron, right? And so I think that's the key. You don't go into this doing it alone. When I see too many people trying to do it on an island, and then they crash and burn, and then they want to deflect and blame and so forth. So
yeah, and that's especially true for now with the market that we're in, because those agents that have jumped in the last 3 years, man, this is a whole new world for them. I'm a grizzled veteran. I've been around for a long, long time. And those that have come into the market in the last 2 or 3 years and just picked the low-hanging fruit, it's not going to work. It doesn't exist anymore. It just isn't the same. So we're back to what a market should actually look like, where agents are actually having to work for business, where agents are actually going to have to hone their tools to generate business. So, anybody that's gotten in the last couple of years, that was great. All you do is show up and fog up a mirror, and you're going to generate some business. It's a polar opposite now. So it's time to figure out what you're going to do, where your niche is, that's going to allow you to generate the leads that were just dropping into your lap in the last couple of years, because that shit just ain't happening anymore.
Absolutely. It's not easy anymore. And we talk about it all the time, right? I mean, if you're not willing to put in the additional work, because I see a lot of, agents post mortgage people is like, hey, the market's slow. There is no business. But I mean, if you think about it, people are still buying, people are still selling, right? And we talk about this all the time. Is all right, you just have to put in additional work, iron your systems, make sure your systems are on point, and just put in more work. Just continue putting in that extra effort. It's going to take more work, but it's how it works, right? This is a cycle. It's just how it works in real estate. I mean, you have to put in a little bit more work today, get those results in the next 3 months, and then things get better, and then we're gonna
Okay.
go back, and then the
And
same thing, right?
And I'll leave you with this. Kristen Mayshore, who is a basically a trendsetter in the digital marketing industry. Her big topic right now is all educational marketing. Educational marketing. That is what is needed in the industry right now. Because it's not about selling, it's about serving, and most importantly, educating to allow homeowners and buyers to know what's even possible given the marketing conditions we're in right now. And so if you can help educate, and that's all you do is educate and bring value, now you've put yourself aside as the industry expert. And that when that person is ready, when they will be, they'll be choosing you.
And I think that's key, Marcus, is I think that as agents, we have to ask ourselves every day, what value am I bringing to my clientele? What value am I bringing to my database? Because if I'm not bringing any value to them, what good am I? Why would they even look to seek me out when it came time to buy or sell a property? So the key that should always be top of mind is, where am I adding value to this proposition?
Love it. All right, Roberto, we're going to jump on to the mastermind.
All right, thank you so much, Jeff, for being here. Thanks, Marcus. We'll see you again next week. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
guys. Marcus, I'll see you on the other side.
See you soon.
All right, have a good one, guys.